Hi everybody, my name is Alisha. In this quick video, I'm going to talk about 3 words that are very often confused when they're written. Pique, peak, and peak. Alright, as you can imagine, the reason these 3 words are very commonly confused is because they sound exactly the same, but they have different spellings. Let's go one by one. I'll give you a trick to help you remember each one so you don't mix them up. Number 1. P-E-E-K. This pique can be used as a noun and as a verb. As a noun, it means a small, quick look at something. As a verb, it means to take a small, quick look at something. For example, I took a peek in the oven to check on my cookies. She peeked in on her sleeping children. This peak is spelled with 2 E's. That's important. Number 2, P-E-A-K. This peak refers to the top of something. This can be either literally, as in the top of a mountain, the peak of a mountain, or as in an athlete who is at the peak of their performance. We can also use this peak as a verb to mean to reach the top of something. For example, she peaked early in her career. We need to reach the peak before sundown. Number 3, P-I-Q-U-E. This peak is used primarily as a verb, which means to arouse emotion or feeling in someone. It can also be used to refer to something that causes irritation in someone. In other cases, it might be used as a noun to express resentment. It's commonly used in expressions like to pique one's interest or to pique someone's curiosity. For example, the menu at the new neighborhood restaurant piqued my curiosity. Your presentation didn't seem to pique her interest. Okay, that's all 3. Now let's take a look at some common mistakes people make with these, and also let's look at some tricks you can use to make sure you always choose the right one. Mistake number 1. The peak that means look and the peak that means the top of something are very commonly confused with one another, especially in the expression sneak peek. If you're not familiar with the expression sneak peek, it refers to an early, small look at something. Advertisers and promoters like to use this expression to imply that their audience is getting a small, special look at something exciting that's coming up. Sneak and peek rhyme, but the peek used in this expression is not the top of something peek. It's the look at something peek. We tend to want to write the words with the same spelling, and that results in writing sneak peek with an E-A-K ending for peek. This is wrong. We have to use the P-E-E-K peek here. So how do you remember which one to use? Here are a couple of ideas. See which one works for you. Try writing the words in capital letters. Notice how the P-E-A-K version has that A in it. You can imagine that A is like a mountaintop. Therefore, P-E-A-K is the one that refers to the top of something. Think of the word see. We use 2 E's to spell see, and we also use 2 E's in the peak that refers to seeing something. Mistake number 2. When people want to use the peak that means to cause an emotion, they seem to often forget that the P-I-Q-U-E spelling even exists. People sometimes use the P-E-A-K spelling, they sometimes use the P-E-E-K spelling, they're both totally wrong. So how do you make sure that you always use the P-I-Q-U-E spelling when you're talking about stirring emotions? Here are a couple of ideas, see which one works for you. Imagine the Q in P-I-Q-U-E as something you could pick up and you could poke people with the bottom of that Q. You would pique their attention, or perhaps pique their anger, but either way, this works. This peak rhymes with unique, and the eek parts are spelled the same. You can remember that your emotions, which people can pique, are unique to you. Alright, so that's a quick breakdown of the differences between peak, and peak. I hope that you never make any mistakes with sneak peek again, and I hope that this video piqued your interest in my channel. You can leave some example sentences in the comments if you want to try out these words. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful for me. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel for more writing, punctuation, and spelling tips. I will see you again next time. Bye! Peek, peek, peek. Pique.